Hey everyone, Happy New Year! This video is a compilation of all the Battletech mech reviews I did on my Patreon over the course of 2025. A series I'll be expanding to games like 40k and so on. The rule is that these videos are Patreon exclusive for the whole year, and then get a compilation video at the end of the year. So the only way to view them early is to subscribe to Patreon. As well, I want to apologize for some pronunciations in this video, as Battletech never really had official pronunciations for many of their planets, corporations, or mechs. For example, I say Tukayid in a video when it's actually pronounced Takayid. It wasn't until MechWarrior 5's DLC, Wolves of Takayid, where we heard the proper pronunciation. So, aside from that, sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Comedy Gold.
Battletech! To be perfectly honest, this universe has been trailing after me for years. I played MechWarrior 4 Mercenaries, which I had zero clue was related to Battletech as a dumb 5-year-old. But now that all of Battletech's mechs are back under one happy roof, and we have a very clear picture of what is and isn't Battletech, I think it's about time we cover the very things that make Battletech, Battletech. This series is Patreon exclusive, meaning that you, my lucky viewers, are the only ones who will get to see this. Though if you are on TikTok, you'll only be getting this opening. So if you want to watch it fully, sub to the Patreon. It's only $5 a month, and you not only get these exclusive videos, but you get to see my other videos a week before they come out on YouTube. So to get us started, Battletech classes its mechs in 4 categories: light, medium, heavy, and assault. Light, of course, being the smallest bastards on the field, who get taken out by a light tap, while the assault mechs are the heaviest weapon platforms out there, but they move at the speed of Bomber Guy's upload schedule. Today, though, we will be focusing on the de facto slowest mech in all of Battletech, the Urban Mech, also referred to as the Urby. This abomination of a light mech was made in 2675 to be the cheapest mech one could get their hands on, outfitted with a medium armor chassis around a light mech design. However, the only engine that was compatible with this creature was the Linux 60, an engine that is described as miserable and bad by most of Battletech's manuals. This makes the Urby move at speeds of 22 kilometers an hour at worst and 32 kilometers an hour at best, making it a miserable choice to bring out into open fields or terrain that lacks cover. As well, the Urby's lack of weapon slots are something to be desired, with its left slot being open to only a small laser. Its armor value is also a massive downside. It, on average, has an armor rating of 54 total, meaning even light mechs can strip this poor bugger of his armor in seconds. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why does this thing exist? What's its purpose? Who's genuinely insane enough to drive this thing? Well, the upside of the Urby is in its name. It is for urban warfare, meaning that in cities where this small guy can hide behind large buildings, or in areas where cover is prominent and it's easy to ambush targets, the Urby's slow-moving profile and ability to turn its torso a full 360 degrees makes it the perfect ambusher mech. Oh! You aren't convinced! Well, remember I said it has 2 weapon slots. Sure, one has to be a small laser, but the other is a large weapon slot, meaning that the Urban's freakish design gives it the advantage to carry weapons you'd usually only see on heavy or assault class mechs, meaning that if said mechs aren't careful, they can find themselves being toppled by the Urban, sneaking up behind them in the tight city fights and breaching their rear armor in one shot. Now, don't go thinking you just solved Battletech with this. Urbans are situationally strong, and though over the centuries in Battletech other companies got their hands on the blueprints and tried improving on its design, the Urban's glaring weaknesses still make it a mech you don't want to take in most situations. In open fields or large war zones, if you want something cheap, the Flea, Locust, and Commando mechs do the job way better than the slow-moving Urban. However, over the years of Battletech, the fanbase has grown to love this walking trash can, so much that it is celebrated and loved for just how shitty it is. Like that one D&D character that the world dunks on, but you and your party can't help but love on. It wasn't its fault that its designers made it an abomination, but we here in the Battletech community love it more than some of the intended favorites. Plus, to the person who brings a whole 6,000 point lance made up of these things, they are the true MVP of the night. If you want to run an urban in your lance, consider making it a sniper. With its slow speed and light armor, it's best if you keep the guy parked in the back as support, along with it having the ability to equip jump packs, making the urban able to maneuver to positions that help the rest of your strategy. Just watch out for anything bigger than a machine gun. Oh fuck, it tipped over!
You son of a bitch. I'm in.
So, when you think of a series mascot, what do you think about? Mario, Sonic, Pikachu, those cannibalistic Cinnamon Toast Crunch characters? Either way, most products or series have someone or something to be the face of it, and Battletech is no exception. For many, they would think it was the Timberwolf who would be the series mascot, or something like the Phoenix Hawk, which has that nice generic but cool look to draw people in. However, Battletech's main mascot isn't either of those two. It's actually one of the heaviest mechs that takes the role and gets to be part of the logo. The Atlas! The Atlas is one of the heaviest mechs in Battletech, being a part of the Assault class of mechs. Developed in 2755, the Atlas was designed to not only be an absolute wrecking ball, but also a command vehicle. Yep, this massive skull-headed bastard is meant to spearhead assaults in lances of mechs. The Atlas comes weighing in at 100 tons of armor and weapons. The standard armament of an Atlas is 4 medium lasers, an SRM-6, an LRM-20, and an AC-20. It comes with over 300 armor points and an extremely versatile engine with the Vlar 300, making the Atlas a perfect brawler slash frontliner. However, with the massive amount of weapon slots and sheer customization options of the Atlas, it can be outfitted to be a sniper class assault mech as well. Let's put it this way. This guy is so well armed and armored that even a battalion of Stinger mechs can barely scratch it. But its versatile engine allows it to move at a solid 54 kilometers an hour, making the Atlas an assault mech that is rapidly approaching your location.
Fast,
Or, after cleaning house on a mech from a distance, it can do the Homer Simpson meme of just fading away behind a mountain or into a deep forest. Now, when building your Atlas, if you're building it into a brawler, then its sole job is to find other assault mechs or heavy mechs, and like the bully from your high school, pummel them relentlessly. A brawler wants to single out its target and beat the ever-loving shit out of it until it stays down or breaks off. Then once it's done, go on to bully the next unlucky bastard that comes within arm's length. The sniper build works the same way, of course. Just pick a target and bully them from a distance, using missiles and cannons to lay into the enemy armor, either softening them up for your frontliners, or making sure that it's dead or useless in 1 or 2 volleys. This makes the Atlas amazing for hunting down single targets, but therein lies the problem. It is only good at taking on one target at a time. So if your opponent piles on the mechs, the Atlas can be overwhelmed fast. As well, although the Atlas has decent speed, light mechs can be extremely annoying for it, as they can run circles around it, get behind it, and hit its ass. As well, if you put missiles onto it in its sniper variant, be aware that if its ammo rack gets hit, your Skullboy will swiftly meet the real Skullboy in seconds. Doesn't matter how much armor you have when you implode from the inside, of course. However, with good planning, building your lance around the Atlas, and trusting in its thick armor, the Atlas proves its name and shows that 9 times out of 10, it is the assault mech that reigns on top of the assault mech class, and deserves its place as the series mascot. Now, for the real question. Can the Atlas solo Pikachu in a 1v1 mascot fight?
Ooh, we have a special snowflake!
Battletech's clans are truly a terrifying idea, both in concept and execution. a conglomerate of groups all based around the idea that they are the superior species of human with technology so advanced that it puts everything else to shame. They are basically the equivalent of you showing up in the First World War with a modern tank and thinking that makes you invincible. To make this idea really hit home, the mech that you would think about first when it comes to the clans is most likely the Timberwolf. It's the most advanced mech the clans could throw at the Inner Sphere during the clan invasion, and is now one of the rarest mechs within the universe, as there's no way to reproduce them, because the technology is lost. So advanced these clans are, that they can't even make these stupid things anymore. The Timberwolf was put into production in the year 2945. Now, by its look and size, you'd think it would be an assault mech. Nope, this thing is one of the fastest, heaviest mechs out there, with its armor being lightweight, but durable as hell, and used on several other series of mechs. Its engine is the Starfire 375XL, an advanced engine that allows this heavy bastard to move at speeds of up to 86 kilometers an hour, meaning this guy, compared to the other heavies and even some light and medium mechs, outpaces the competition. The Timberwolf comes armed with 2 ER large lasers, 2 ER medium lasers, 1 medium pulse laser, 2 LRM-20s, and just for extra insult to injury, 2 machine guns. However, the Timberwolf is what we call an omni-mech. This means that, unlike other mechs where the mech is more designed around the guns, the omni-mech is a mech that's weapon slots can be, well, anything you want them to be. Want to replace the LRMs with PPCs? You can. Want to replace the large lasers with Gauss rifles? Out with the lasers, and in with the flechette rounds. Want to just have laser pointer of death? Yep. This thing is so customizable that there are 19 confirmed canon custom designs for this jack of all trades. And that's before you get your hands on it. Oh, you think it can't get worse? This is clan technology, meaning that this baby gets better heat sinks to dissipate heat faster than other mechs, targeting computers to help with accuracy of shots, and comms arrays that help with spotting and target coordination. All this thing is genuinely missing is a goddamn cup holder, just to flex on the enemy pilots more. With all these advantages going into it, the Timberwolf fits any role within a lance that you want it to. It can brawl with the best of them, be the most dangerous sniper on the field, a speedy flanker and scout, or be the leader of your lance of mechs, making this guy one of the most flexible mechs within Battletech. However, there are 2 major factors going against the Timberwolf. For one, the price. This guy is really expensive to bring compared to other mechs, meaning that with building a lance, he takes up 45% of your lance's points on average in a standard game, kinda limiting your options and taking up a lot of space other mechs could fill. As well, a lot of points sunk into one mech means that if it dies, that's a massive hole in your lance that you will be scrambling to fill. As well, its build makes it hyper-focus into one role, meaning that if you build it to be a sniper, keep it in the back. Its flexibility comes from how well you build it, not how you use it. So don't think this guy is going to be the saving grace of your list. You take the Timberwolf to do one job and do it extremely well. The Timberwolf is the best example of clan technology. Powerful, advanced, and extremely dangerous when in the hands of even the most basic of pilots. The Timberwolf is one of the best mechs you can field in a game of Battletech, if you're willing to fork out the steep cost of fielding one. Oh, what's this? Mine got blown up! Man, that debt is gonna take forever to pay off!
This right here is my favorite thing, ever. In the history of forever. I think about this every day. I think about this all night long. I stay awake, not sleeping, because I'm thinking about this.
So, knowing me, you'd probably assume my favorite mech is something like the Marauder 2C, the Timberwolf, or hell, even something like the Phoenix Hawk. Well, you'd be wrong. My favorite mech isn't the heaviest, most advanced, or even the strongest mech in Battletech. My favorite mech was the tutorial mech you drove back in Mech Warrior Mercenary for the Bushwacker. Yep, we are talking about this thing, and I'm not sorry for my love of it. The Bushwacker was put into production in 3053. However, before that, The Bushwacker had been destined for the failed design pile. You see, the reason why the Bushwacker is designed the way it is because the designers wanted to make the mech harder to hit by going against the mold and not making the mech taller. However, due to the design, there are a few technical quirks with it. The first designs had the fusion engine literally right under the cockpit, leading to electronic interference to the sensors and comms, and the internal layout being cramped and complex, making the Bushwacker an effective hunter in the hands of an ace with years of pilot experience, although it was seen as a failure and destined to be tossed into the scrap pile, until Clan Juggernaut raided Clan Jade Falcon's bases that contained the blueprints, and like me, the pilots of Juggernaut fell in love with these stupid things. Handing the Bushwacker over to Tharhees Industries, their engineers were able to fix the design flaws of the first draft, and soon, the Bushwacker was put into full production. Its initial engine was replaced with the Hermes 275 XL, a fairly decent engine that gives the Bushwacker a top speed of 86 kilometers an hour. Its standard armament is an AC-10, 2 LRM-5s, 1 ER large laser, and 2 machine guns. Now to most, that might not be an impressive profile, until you realize that its job is to be a war of attrition skirmisher. Yeah, the Bushwacker is a medium mech, using its speed and low profile to keep enemies at arm's length and slowly peel off enemy armor and wear them down. Its armament and all of its variants are based around this design choice, making the Bushwacker the perfect support mech to team up with others in your lance, using the Bushwacker to slam into the enemy side while your heavier mechs push the front line. The Bushwacker should be the one shooting first in most engagements, if you don't have a spotter in your lance, softening up enemy armor before your heavier guns hit. It's great at making enemy units easier to crack open for your heavier guns, though beware, the Bushwacker is not a tank. If it gets caught out in the open, it will get the Goku treatment with Android 13. As well, with its two main guns being LRM-5s and an AC-10, one bad hit, and this poor guy goes up in smoke. However, with its smaller profile, its speed helping it run off to reposition after slamming an enemy with a full salvo, and just its design, god damn, I love this stupid thing. Are there better options? Yeah. Are there medium and even light mechs that hit harder than it? Yep. And is it an ugly looking mech? Yep. But it's my ugly little bastard, and I love it. If the Bushwacker only has one fan, I am that fan. And anytime I make a custom lance, the Bushwacker is always on my top choices to bring.
Join the occult, Dad!
Alrighty, so there's like 600 mechs, so instead of just remembering the names of every single mech, I put the mechs that are currently available from Clan Invasion on a wheel, and we will let fate decide what we talk about. So what's on the wheel today? The Turkina? Wasn't expecting we'd be talking about Clan Jade Falcon's personification of a turkey shoot, but hey, no time like the present. The Turkina was developed by Complex Beta and Olivetti Weapons in the year 3052. Its first appearance was at the Battle of Tukayid by the Turkina Keshik. With its successful deployment there, it entered general service for Clan Jade Falcon. It's a great sniper and artillery mech that can clearly take a brutal beating, which, if you understand Clan Jade Falcon, yeah, it makes sense they would love this huge bastard. Fun fact, the Turkina is named after the first Jade Falcon that was tamed by the leaders of Clan Jade Falcon. Much like other clan mechs, the Turkina is an omni-mech, meaning that its weapons can easily be swapped out, giving the Turkina 11 official different variations, leaning heavily into either the sniper or artillery roles based on which version you want. The standard Turkina comes equipped with 2 ERPPCs, 2 LRM-15s, 2 LB-5X autocannons, and has 15 double heatsinks. A design quirk that the Turkina has is that the jump jets are modular pods, making them easier to repair, but it does take up a lot of the mech's tonnage that could have been used elsewhere. When fielding a Turkina, it's obvious from how this large lug is armed that it should be in the back line, using its jump jets to get up to higher positions than just laying into enemy mechs with barrages of missiles and heavy guns. It should only be moving if it's at risk of being outflanked, or if you need to fall back because your opponent is trying to lay into it. Though, That's if they survive the deadly barrage the Turkina will put them through, as this guy is pumping out 70 damage at max with its standard build. That's enough damage to strip most mechs of their armor, or take off whole limbs in a storm of fire. Pairing the Turkina up with spotters, or a squad of light mechs, can give you great gains. Where the swarm of lighter mechs distracts or outflanks the enemy lance, you can have the others who aren't in a good position to shoot just spot for the Turkina to make up for it. Which, for something as slow as the Turkina, it's a massive help, as your opponent will most likely just try to hide behind terrain as much as possible. Which is kind of the massive downside of the Turkina. The Turkina isn't fast, as it's an assault class of mech, meaning that in a situation where the enemy has closed the gap, your Turkina isn't getting away unless another mech comes in and pulls the mech threatening it off the slow turkey. Another major problem is that unless it's a Turkina built for mid-range combat, the standard Turkina's autocannons need to be at a minimum 3 spaces away to get their full effectiveness. Though if an enemy mech is within 3 spaces of a Turkina, it's usually all over for this big bird. Not to mention, with its 2 massive shoulder-mounted missile pods and the sheer amount of ammo, don't be surprised if a lucky hit makes the whole guy explode. Its massive ammo reserve, although a huge benefit for keeping it in the fight for longer periods than its other assault counterparts, can also be a huge weakness for it. Though again, this is assuming any enemy mech survives the salvo from the Turkina, because you gotta pop out to take shots at it, and one good salvo is enough to down an enemy mech or cripple it. The Turkina, although a slow-ass sniper and missile boat, is still a scary turret to face down. Any mech caught in the open will get ruined in seconds. As well, jump jets and a very large ammo reserve make it so the Turkina can reposition in a moment's notice and win most ranged wars against its sniper and missile boat counterparts. So, if you want a heavy artillery piece to build your list around, give the Turkina a shot. Though, I'll stick with the Archer personally, as I don't like burnt turkey if things go wrong.
I don't care who the IRS sends, I am not paying taxes.
Who's next on the old review board? The Black Lanner? Another Jade Falcon mech. Well, alrighty then, Wheel of Morality, you're the boss. Oh, by the way, I had to take some mechs off the wheel, since it turns out that some of them don't have models. So, until they get updated models, I can't really talk about them all that well. Anyways, let's get into it. The Black Lanner was put into full-scale production in 3052 by Ironhold Alpha Complex and Olivetti Weapons for Clan Jade Falcon. And much like its cousin the Turkina, it first saw action at the Battle of Tukayid as a fast-moving raider and scout. Though the interesting thing is that the Black Lanner was built on the Jade Falcon's homeworld, making it solely a Clan Jade Falcon mech, with other clans only getting access to it through winning battles and capturing them from Jade Falcon pilots. However, by the time of 3068, the Black Lanner production was halted completely due to exterior circumstances, meaning that the only Black Lanners left are the ones who got off the production lines in time or were already in service, leaving whatever is left out there to be jealously guarded by whoever got their hands on them. The Black Lanner is, of course, a medium-class clan Omni-Mech. For those needing a reminder, Omni-Mechs means that their weapon systems come in the form of replaceable pods that allow for easy swap-outs to meet any tactical situation. The Black Lanner has 12 official variations, though all of them focus on the mech's strength of hit and run. The standard build of the Black Lanner comes with one ER large laser, one LRM-10, one SRM-6, and 2 ER medium lasers, though its base engine can get the Lanner up to a speed of 118 kilometers an hour. It also has the mask system, an upgrade to the mech that allows it to increase its speed up to 151 kilometers an hour, though it does put a strain on the mech's legs and should only be used sparingly to avoid damage. The Black Lanner's role in a lance is to be a skirmisher, weaving in and out of combat, laying into a single target, breaking off, then doing it again. With its speed and maneuverability, it makes the Black Lanner an extremely annoying medium-class mech to hit, along with the fact that it can easily get behind and lay into the enemy's rear fairly easily. Or if it can't get a good shot, it can be a spotter for your snipers and missile boats in the back. meaning the Black Lanner is never without something to do. Though, remember, the Black Lanner may be fast and can take more punishment than other light mechs and some mediums, but it's still not a tank. Enough fire on it will drag it down, and like any other speedy mech, good positioning is key, meaning that if you aren't paying attention, the Black Lanner can find itself in a bad position where it either can't help, or it's going to understand the brutal reality of why its kind is going the way of the dodo. The Black Lanner, at the end of the day, is Clan Jade Falcon's baby, a mech that will cause problems in the backline and makes for one of the best skirmisher mechs you can get, though it is a bit pricey. Maybe include it in a lance of light to medium mechs, since it borders on the same price as some heavy mechs from the inner sphere. You really can't go wrong with one or two Black Lanners in your lance.
Don't fuck up. Because if you do fuck up, you're gonna have to answer to me.
Wheel of Decide. Turn, turn, turn. Tell us which mech we should learn. The Crusader. Well, the variant that was up there was the older version of it that no longer has a model. So let's talk about the newer and cooler version, shall we? The Crusader was put into production in the year 2752, with no less than 6 different groups collaborating on its design. The reason why it had so many groups working on it was because the Crusader was being designed for the Star League Defense Force. But even after the fall of the original SLDF, the Crusader remained a popular design. The reasoning was that it was a solid and reliable multi-tool mech, making it great in just about any battlefield role that the great houses or mercenaries wanted to put it in. It saw heavy deployment during the clan invasion, as it was so easy to maintain and repair that Crusaders could be repaired, refitted, and redeployed in a single day, making the Crusader an extremely valuable mech to have in any battle. The Inner Sphere produced no less than 29 whole variants for this single chassis alone throughout its life. The Crusader is an Inner Sphere heavy mech and has the Magna 260 engine that allows it to move up to 65 kilometers an hour. Its standard armament is 2 LRM-15s, 2 SRM-6s, 2 medium lasers, and 2 machine guns, making the Crusader a versatile mech that can lay down punishing salvos from long range and brawl with the best of the heavy mechs with little issue. Running a Crusader in your lance means that whatever you want it to do, it can do the job just fine. Want to hang back and puppy guard your artillery mechs and vehicles? It can do that. Want to be an aggressive and upfront brawler? Run up the field at something you want pinned down and watch it bully mechs that would threaten the rest of your lance. It's surprisingly simple and easy to understand mech, with a ton of advantages. It also helps that the Crusader spread out its weapons. The LRMs, machine guns, and lasers are on the arms, while the legs carry the SRMs, meaning that even if the Crusader loses its arms, it can still fight in limited ways. Granted, the downsides are still there for a mech with this much promise. For starters, it has an embarrassing amount of heat sinks, with the base design only having 10 total, meaning that unlike its counterparts, it can't unleash a deadly salvo. It has to pick between firing its LRMs or its other guns, or risk overheating. As well, with it being a jack of all trades, there are other mechs that can do its job better. So sometimes, it's just better to assign mechs that are actually made to do those jobs, instead of relying on the Crusader to do it. The Crusader, at the end of the day, is a reliable and versatile mech to bring. Yeah, sure, its heat problems for the base build are terrible, and sure, there are other mechs that can do the job it can do way better, but having a cheap, reliable, and versatile mech like the Crusader never hurts. It always helps to bring a mech that's packing this much firepower.
I solve practical problems.
Okay, yes, I know I fell behind a bit. Look, I got distracted, and you know that I got knowledge debts to pay, and... Well, the Wheel of Decide broke, and I'm still waiting on that Iron Warrior to fix it. What do you mean I have 30 minutes to get a mech dossier out? Fuck, no, too lanky, no, too silly. How did Gundam get in here? Damn it! I'm so screwed if I... Well, you know what they say. Desperate times call for desperate measures, buddy. The Marauder was put into production in 2819, though the first prototype was built in 2612, by General Motors. No, not that General Motors, this one. The Marauder was developed for the Star League's Gunslinger program, which trained Intersphere pilots to fight in advanced forms of combat and maneuvering that they weren't used to, with mechs that could adjust rapidly to any new situation. Over the years, the Marauder proved itself time and time again, being one of the most reliable mechs seen on the battlefield during the Secession Wars. Later on, House Davion and House Kurita would develop new variants of the Marauder, and these variants have been seen even on backwater worlds due to their reliability. The standard Marauder is a heavy sniper class mech, coming armed with 2 PPCs, 2 medium lasers, and 1 whirlwind autocannon. Its Vlar 300 engine gives it a movement speed of 65 kilometers an hour, making it an incredible mid to backline mech that can reposition quickly. The Marauder to date has had 36 variants developed, and also had 2 successors based on it, the Marauder 2 and the Marauder 2C, which was developed by the clans, meaning that this big guy was so popular that everyone wanted it. When fielding a Marauder, whether it be the original or its 2 spin-offs, it should be a back or mid-liner. Its PPCs and autocannons can put a lot of damage downrange and take out most light and medium mechs in 1 or 2 volleys. Its full salvo is able to do 30 damage solid, if you aren't rapid firing the autocannon. Though its 2 variant forms can easily do more damage than the original, due to their more advanced designs. Which comes to the problem. With the Marauder 2 and 2C running around, it made the original Marauder redundant at best, and at worst, it highlighted more of its weaknesses. The original Marauder's autocannon was easy to blow off, a design flaw that the other 2 addressed by armoring the cannon. As well, although the Marauder 2 moves a little slower than the original, it was outfitted with jump jets and more armor, arguably making it more reliable than the original with its ability to stay on the move. While the 2C went from a sniper role to a brawler role, keeping its speed but also adding smaller lasers, making it able to snipe enemies, then close in and cut them down. However, the Marauder 2 and 2C are way more expensive to bring, as they were reclassified into the assault role, while the original Marauder is still an effective sniper by comparison at half the cost in a heavy role. Sure, its flaws are more obvious when you put it beside the newer iterations, but it's cheap, reliable, and with over 36 variations on the standard chassis alone, you can't really complain when it's such a cheap and reliable heavy mech. The Marauder and its variants are the pinnacle of what snipers should be, quick to adjust and hard-hitting mid to backline units. Sure, you probably want to take the 2 or the 2C over the original, but if you're needing a sniper that is reliable and can take a good amount of hits, the original Marauder is a fantastic take. It may look like a skeleton compared to the others, but even skeletons can hit pretty damn hard.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't.
You ever just have a shower thought that invades your brain even well after you get out of it? Like, the only way to get the thought demon out is by doing some ritual, like writing it or drawing it. Because that's what I think happened with this mech. Someone in Battletech's early life wanted to exorcise some creative demon and gave us this hilarious abomination. The Yeoman. The Yeoman was developed in the year 3060 by Curtis Militech. It was supposed to help the company capitalize on the success of its famous Wraith design, and it was released alongside the Eagle mech. Both of these things were utter failures for their own respective reasons, but today we're focusing on the high-risk investment on legs. The Yeoman is, regrettably, an inner sphere heavy mech running off of a Pitman 240 engine, giving this Looney Tune walker a top speed of 65 kilometers an hour. This thing only has one weapon type. As you can see, it's missiles. It has 2 LRM-15s and 2 LRM-10s, so this thing's able to keep up a sustained fire of missiles for up to 2 minutes. However, this is all of the weapons it has. It has no lasers, no autocannons, not even a humble machine gun to give it any combat power outside of long-range artillery. On the battlefield, the Yeoman is an artillery support mech. You hide it behind terrain or put it in a place where it has decent cover, get a cheap locust to spot for it, and just lay into whatever the hell comes within its range. That's really all you want to be doing with it, however, because its glaring weakness is open for everyone to see. Now I get to teach you the wondrous realm of Battletech's rules, or at least part of them anyway. You see, your mech has two layers to it, the exterior armor and the interior armor. If your mech lacks exterior armor, your interior armor gets hit, and if that happens, your opponent gets to roll for critical hits on your mech. Should one of those critical hits nail an ammo rack, well, the ammo rack explodes, and your mech takes the full salvo of that ammo, possibly triggering even more racks to explode. Now, the Yeoman actually solves this by using cases. These are self-contained ammo racks that help keep ammo explosions to only that one ammo rack. However, even if it contains the explosion, your mech still takes the damage. Yeah, sure, the Yeoman can take one case going off, but critical hits tend to stack, and if the interior armor is already compromised, it's gonna take the cockpit out along with that side that explodes. The Yeoman's blatant weakness has made it a very unpopular mech, along with its counterpart, the Eagle. Yeah, sure, its base design can carry over 600 missiles, but you'll never be able to fire all of them, and it's not hard for a light or even medium mech to get into the back line and bully it. Most inner sphere lances will choose the superior archer for its LRM-20s and medium lasers, or the catapult with its 2 LRM-15s and 4 medium lasers that give it something to do when it runs out of ammo. The Yeoman was a mistake, and was clearly designed to be a joke mech. It's something you take either because you're in the mood for a laugh, or just want to show off that you own something this ridiculous. Ain't nothing wrong, though, with having a laugh. But there are better and cheaper missile boats to take. If you want to run the turkey with a death wish, be my guest. I am someone who would take a full lance of Irbies, so I don't have the right to judge. Just don't get upset when the Yeoman becomes ground zero for a very large explosion.
Art thou feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Oh god, the year's almost done. Halo 5 is done. Plans are ready for January's videos, and I can finally goof off after one more video. This has to be a good one, though. No phoning it in! What we got today for our mech review: the Phoenix Hawk, the Catapult, he who should not be named! Well, you know what they say. All hail the king, baby. The King Crab was designed by Crusader Weaponries in 2741. Interestingly, at the request of Alexander Kerensky. The idea of the King Crab was basically, see that target? I don't want to see it anymore. Meaning the King Crab's armament was meant to either cripple or absolutely kill an enemy mech in one salvo. The King Crab nearly went extinct during the American Civil War, but Comstar not only repaired the factories on Mars that produced the King Crab, but also contracted Crusader Weaponries again to continue production. This mech was one of the heaviest hitters Comstar used against the clans, and it eventually joined the designs categorized as Clan Busters. The King Crab is an assault class mech with 12 official variations. The standard version has a VLAR 300 engine, giving it a movement speed of 54 kilometers an hour. It comes equipped with 2 Deathgiver autocannons, an LRM-15, an Exostar large laser, and 2 hand actuators, so that the King Crab can grab onto its enemies and give them the clamps, clamping down on them and either crushing or tearing them apart. The strategy when it comes to a King Crab is that they are either the tip of your lance or the heart of it. The big crab moves at the center of the battlefield, drawing all enemy fire to it, while the rest of your lance moves up to the flank and supports their king. Once the king is in range, any mech that is out in the open is going to learn really quickly why that was a bad idea, as the king's cannons will do 40 damage, crippling the target before the laser and missiles finish it off. Truly a terrifying mech to face in the field. There are 2 massive downsides to the King Crab, though: its speed and the very arms that gave the King Crab its name. The King Crab is a slow bastard. In a game of Battletech, you're moving at 5 spaces maximum, meaning that the King Crab can be easily outflanked, or that if its attacks misses, its target can easily get away from it. Light mechs prove to be the King Crab's kryptonite, as all something like a Locust needs to do is run behind it and get a good couple of shots to turn the king into its bitch in a single turn. Another problem comes with the arms. Although the main body and legs of the king crab are heavily armored, the arms aren't, and one good hit can knock an arm out of the fight, meaning that the king crab loses its defining feature, as well as the weapons that actually make it dangerous, since the autocannons are built into the king crab's arms, so king crabs fear anyone getting onto their sides and laying into them. Granted, these weaknesses are mitigated when you remember to build your lance around the king, making your lance more of a chessboard in design, with your mech supporting the king crab by either covering its sides, or if you have an archer or catapult in the back, punishing any mech stupid enough to try and flank their king. The more you support your king, the more your king is able to do its job and reward you with clean kills. The king crab is truly the assault mech of Battletech. It is the centerpiece of a lance when it's brought, and is only truly rivaled by the Atlas and Marauder 2C in firepower. Sure, it's as slow as a slug, and requires your entire strategy to be built around it, but when you're putting out 63 damage at max with the basic version of the king crab, whereas the Atlas and Marauder are only putting out around 50, the crab proves why it is the king of assault mechs. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, comment your favorite mech down below, and join the Patreon if you want to see more of these unit breakdowns. Your support is how I'm able to keep doing this and keep a roof over my head. But when we come back, it'll be a video on the need-to-know locations of Warhammer 40k. See you all next time.